know, all those good greetings. Salam, shalom, namaste, all those great greetings. I'm walking. I like to take my walk. It is a little kind of like I should have not done the walk. Now I should have done it early in the morning where it's more, the sun is beaming down. But hey, listen, I love the sun. I really do love the sun. So I'm good. Well, I'm spirit and spiritual. Need to go over this. Because the question is, can spirituality help save communities? Whatever communities you have. That's a very kind of like, I know, moronic, oxymoron, or kind of moronic type of question, you know? Because all around us, we see spirituality. All around us, in many communities, Christian communities, even in a polytheistic type of society, you still see spirituality. But then again, what is spirituality? Okay. Now, I've been tagged by not a few brothers, but there is a community out there that believe that if you use what I'm about to do right now with words, you use it in that content like whether you're doing word gymnastics, right? Because these people lean too much to its definition, a Webster dictionary. Webster, right? I'm saying they're not taking into consideration, even within the Webster dictionary, the origin of words, the core of it, the origin, where did it come from? So, spirit, I've defined it, and not only, and only because I've read many different dictionaries and different reasoning with it, and also the experiences, right? In order to arrive at this idea and concept of what spirit is, right? So first, let me give you what conventionally people will say spirit when they look it up in the dictionary. They say it's breath. Breath. That's it. But when you breathe, what are you breathing? Does it mean that you're breathing oxygen? Or the breath consists of oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? What is it referring to when it says breath, right? Now, you can look at it like that. Oxygen and carbon dioxide, and this breath of in, taking it into your lungs and out. That's your definition of what spirit is. How does that fit into religion? Or, for say, the whole concept of spirituality? You gotta look at that. Now, you can use the word breath in a metaphor or allegorical. I breathe into you my ideas and concepts. I breathe into you my personality, my characteristic, the breath of things, right? You can use it like that. Look it up. Look it up. So I breathe into your nostril part of me, my character, my personality, so you become like me, right? So I breathe into you, right? So when you breathe into someone in that content of what? Sprouting, or growing, or spit, growth, right? In that direction. Rahul back, papito. Zama, Rahul back. So, in Understanding these concepts and ideas and looking at it like that and knowing what allegories and metaphors and things like that is, come to a conclusion or for a more defined concept of what spirit is. So when you look at the word spirito, so spirit, right? You see the word spur. Now, brothers say, well, how can spur, the R is spirit. Spur can also mean steeple of a church, right? The steeple is the spur of the church. Or the blade of the grass, the spurs, right? When you go into the origin of the word spur, S-P-I-R-E, right? And you go into the origin in Old English, it is from the word S-P-I-R. Spur, to spur something means to sprout, right? Isn't that what you do with your breath? You sprout, you spit out your rhymes. You sprout it, right? Goes forth. That's spur. Right? So when you sprout and you spit out rituals, right. But let's take it one at a time. So we got the word spur in there. How does that fit into the word spirit? Yeah, because spur, and then you spur it. You what? You sprout it, right? Breath too, sprouts. Breathe. Peace, my brother. Well, I can't see who this is, but peace. Go back. Peace. You spur. Now we come to the second part, which is writ, a rite of passage, writ. So now, the difference between writ and rituals are that a writ is the actual, the writ or the rite of passage is the actual ceremony, you know what I'm saying, that's taking place. Where ritual is symbolically. Now, I don't want to go too in-depth into that. Maybe we can do that another time. The difference in that. You just got to look it up. So when you sprout, you spur, you sprout a rite of passage, right? Which is through rituals, that's spirituality. Spiritual. What is an example of that? Birth ceremonies. You have baptism, naming ceremony. You sprout a certain rite of passage, or from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. There's certain ceremonies that take place, right? And I'm talking in a lot of indigenous culture, because they cultivate their nature. And so we're going to tie it all together now. This concept of sprouting a ritual is something that's been done. It's one of the ways to cultivate a condition, because it binds communities together. Naming ceremonies, birth ceremonies, baptisms, death ceremonies, right? Like the opening of the mouth ceremony in ancient Kemet. So you have these rite of passage. In a funeral, a rite of passage would be the open mouth ceremony, right? Or the priest over the body to give it a what? Symbolically, to give consolence and to give that personality what? A rite of passage into what they call heaven, or wherever they want to go, a rite of passage. So then again, this is seen in in our society now, in our civilization, even the American civilization. All of these are the spirituality the spiritual, the spurring of rituals that we live by is not that hard to comprehend. So what is spiritual? The spurring of rituals, right? Can it help a community? Yes, it can. Can it be damaging to a community? Yes, it can. When it becomes held within the hands of certain people that through rites of passage become priests, but they're not honorable. You know what I'm saying? There has been cases of that, right? But if you come from a culture, a community where you have these rites of passage in both birth, initiations, in the passing from childhood to adulthood, when you have marriage ceremonies, that's a ritual. You go through a marriage ceremony because your change of status now has changed. So the spurring of these rituals is just spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It's all can be looked at like that. What's going on, Tori? My brother, peace and love to you, man. So, can spirituality help a community? Yes. In the right hands, when it's done the right, we use it every day. You're gonna get married, where you gotta go? You gotta go to the state, you gotta go to the church. There's a certain ritual rite of passage that changes your status, right? Initiation, and anything you do, baptism, naming ceremonies. Yeah, usually rituals are ceremonies, rites of passage. And Ifa, rites of passage, you go through a certain initiation to gain what? A certain status, a certain name. That's all. Wow, beautiful. So that's all what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? And so we come to the conclusion of this, where we're now, wow. So now, this is a school around here. Beautiful ladies coming through here, but this is too young for me. But anyway, I'm a friend. I'm a father, I'm a friend. But anyway, that's all. It's not, so you got, again, the skeptic mind is a phenomenon, man. Because the skeptic mind breeds criticism, and I always said this. Criticism, paradoxical thinking is a more advanced and beneficial type of thinking that we have to develop. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be critical and critical and critical, right? And not see, in other words, you're only seeing it one way. So like you're crossing the street, you're only looking one way. So the op of you to get not seeing the other side, you could become, in trouble. You get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it both sides. It's called paradoxical thinking. So to answer the question, can spirituality be something that can help a community? Yes. Yes. Those rituals are rites of passage. We use it every day. Every single day. Initiation. But the other thing is that there's some people out here that don't got characters and personality. They don't have it. They don't have culture. They're not cultivating their conditions. And you can cultivate your conditions in a way that it becomes derogatory and becomes very not beneficial for you. It's like you cultivate what? Before the harvest, you cultivate the land. You work with the conditions of that land, right? And the conditions of nature in order to what? Cultivate that condition in order to, Jesus. I don't know. I'm walking over here and I'm sorry to take it. So it's all You know, when asked a question, can spirituality help? Yes, it can. In the right hand, those rituals in the right hand can help a community. We're now coming to a common unity, and we're now invested in these rituals that signify, right, or that marks a change of status, a change in something, right? Especially a change of status, and we use ceremonies to mark that. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. It's part of how we live our life. It's cultivating these conditions that we're put under. You know, so especially when it comes to communal living. Now, and as a mystic, you understand this. You look around, you say, okay, that's they. In order for you to go into the, let's say, into a box, or to take out the jewels of Judaism, you got to understand what are the rituals in Judaism. You got to understand what are the rituals of Shabbat. All these different types of rituals that binds people together, and you got to be respectful for that. You know what I'm saying? And understand that, yeah, there are few that know these rituals, get the status, they go through ritual, but become very derogatory or very detrimental to a community. There are those. It happens. It happens. But consider this, is that those rituals are not, it's like, those rituals like the gun. It's not the gun that's going to kill, it's the person behind there who forces this gun to have a bad, do something detrimental. You know what I'm saying? But you could take a gun or a rifle or something, and you could go hunt for food. It's doing something good, right? Or you could protect your family from certain things that can overpower you. You know, so got to take into a lot of things into consideration. So that answers the question: can spirituality in this 21st century, can spirituality help any community, black people, white people, Spanish people? Yeah, yes, it can. If it's in the hands of the right honorable people that understands these rite of passage, so they understand how to bind communities together. And it becomes also, it becomes also, the spirituality has also been linked up to the economy, echo, because that's the habitat, right? Echo means habitat. Well, the economy, your habitat. So when you have these people that are guards, or the people that are invested in learning these rituals, they become the economics, the binding force in the economics of that particular community or race or people or nation. You know? But again, those are going to have a critical mind, right? Criticism, and those that are going to be speculative, they're spooks, expected. Everything off, yeah. You know, and then there are those that want to capitalize off the, they're going back and forth about, especially a question like this. But that's me. Am I a ritualistic person? Do I partake in rituals? That's my business. And every day I get up, yeah, there's a ritual, right? There's a habit. I get up, I brush my teeth. There's certain things I have to do. If I don't do certain things in my life, it kind of like offsets my day a little bit. Even though I try not to let it influence me like that, but it's a reality. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you're into the Israelite paradigm, you're into whatever you're into, learn those rituals, learn the birth ceremonies, learn the marriage ceremonies within that condition. Learn it. And then become honorable and guarded. And then when it's time for you to perform these ceremonies, you're honorable, you can perform these ceremonies. Marriage ceremonies in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Muslims do that. They perform their marriage ceremony in Arabic, in Islam. They perform that in Christianity. You see it every day. So now you have a community that are not invested in their spirituality and don't have these rituals. What kind of community is that? What are they basing it? A knowledge community? Knowledge of what? What do you have? You got to have knowledge of something. Science. There are certain rituals that a scientist have to spit out or sprout in a lab. He can't just go in there and just do whatever he wants. There's certain rules, there's certain rituals. So they have also their spirituality as a scientist. And a lot of times that's the beginning of a lot of religions, because in the beginning we're scientists from the beginning, from the inception. It's just that as time went by, the science became so condensed and easy to just do the ritual. That's it. You know? So whatever you lean towards, you cannot negate the fact. You cannot negate that everything you do around you is based on you sprouting some type of ceremonies or rituals or condition, an act that is constant. You can't get away from that. It's what it is. So anyway, that answers the question. If someone asks us, can spirituality be the savior of our community? Yes, it can. In the right hands, yes, it can. And sometimes we have to go into religion, that box, and pull out those jewels. Remember, I always look at religion, and then I go back to the word of to bind you in these principles, which is like to box you in. But then again, there's jewels. What do you put in a box? Either jewels or stones. If you go in there and you're honored, but you're looking for jewels, that you're able to put those jewels on you, go to another box and see those jewels and see the common thread. It's not that hard. No one religion can be savior to any community. Let me rephrase that. In this civilization now, there's not just one theistic principle that governs. It's not, because we're in a civilization where polytheism is practiced. Within that polytheism, we're given the freedom, right? But the one that became more prevalent has been the monotheistic. And theist, being theist, theory, also definite article, a definite one, okay? Break down those words, and you see it. So it can make sense. And you see that this is a polytheistic. You walk in the civilization street, you're gonna meet Muslims, you're gonna meet Israelites, you're gonna meet Christians, you're gonna meet Buddhists, you're gonna meet all types, because this is a polytheist civilization, civilization. It's the 5-pointed star. One of the principles, polytheism. So there's not no one, but now you find a common thread to that, the theist, the definite article, and you work it so that can benefit you and your family, you first, your family, your nation, and everything, on and on and on. But don't be of that critical mind where you shut other theists out, even atheists. Don't shut them out, because there's jewels in there. That's a box. Look for the jewels that's inside of there. And say, I like that. I see that. I can use that. Simple. Anyway, I'm almost getting to where my spot is. I'll grab me some lunch. And with all that being said, I mean, all in blessings to you. And on the next order, we'll probably discuss the best and pa and best, and how that went into Nile Valley and became what today is in Ifa. We call Elegua. Okay, the seeds, the koi, and link it up with the koi san people, the koi people, the Twa people, and link it with that, how they're unknown as that genetically, that's the DNA we have. They have the oldest DNA, but we're going to go into that on the next one, okay? Anyway, with all that, all and blessings to you, and remember, that's my answer to that question. Can spirituality help save us today, our people? Yes. In the right hands, yes, it could bind communities together. In the right hands. Simple. Simple. Yes, in the wrong hands, it could be a little detrimental. Yes, it can. But in the right hands, honorable hands, yes, it can bind us. It can create a better community, beneficial condition for us. Okay? So that's all.